Hello everyone, this is my mountain life. It's April 21st, 2024. I thought I'd show you an example of what I'm doing to try to battle one of the problems I'm having. So this is a Liberty apple tree. Actually, I'll talk about two of the things that I'm dealing with, or trying to deal with. So this is my apple orchard, or portion of the orchard that's apple trees. And I bought a lot of them from Costco. And we don't know, with Costco you don't really know what the rootstock is. So you don't know how it handles the type of soil and the situations that you're in. So this is heavy clay underneath here. In fact, I was chatting with my neighbor yesterday, and he said that he dealt with heavy clay in his area too. Now what's interesting is my home orchard, which isn't too far away from here, doesn't really have heavy clay. It's got good soil and then sand and then gravel under that. And so I don't know why, but within like 50 yards is just heavy clay underneath this soil here. About 8 inches down is heavy clay. And so the apple trees have been, especially the ones I bought from Costco, have real trouble like growing. Now I have pulled some old ones out that died because of voles, and the trees themselves, the roots look fine, and they're taking root and they're expanding and they're going down, but they're not vigorous at all. And I know that's the fact for my cherry trees, because the home orchard cherry trees, even the Costco ones, are much better than these. But one of the problems I have, I started putting wood chips down, and one of the problems that I have is voles. And this portion of the orchard seems to be worse than any of the other portions of the orchard. Most of the orchard, all I have to do is put the white tree guards around them, and the voles leave them alone. But what's going on is the voles are actually getting underneath, and they're eating the roots of 1 or 2 trees a year. It's not, I don't like to lose that many. I don't like to lose any trees, but I'll show you the one I lost already, and then another one last year that it looks like I'm going to lose. And then I lost this one here, but this was a little strange circumstance. The deer came along because they got into the orchard, and they took this off, the tree guard, not off this tree, but the one that was here before, and they ate the tree, and then because they got the tree guard off, the voles then got in and girdled it, and then ate down even into the roots. So I decided that number one of the things I've learned is that in my area here, to give me the best chance for apple trees, because I still want to have apples, is I'm going to put either M111, I think, is one of the rootstocks, but if I can find the standard tree rootstock, I'll probably start replacing trees that die with those. And that's what I did with this Liberty. This is a standard rootstock. It's I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Antivoka or something like that. It's from Russia, but it's a standard rootstock. The disadvantage of a standard rootstock is the tree's going to get really large. Okay, that's one. The other disadvantage is that it's not going to bear fruit for a long time compared to the other apple trees. But I really haven't had that much luck with the apple trees in the orchard even thus far. So if I have to wait for apples, and I'm already behind the power curve, I guess. But then I also said that the reason that I want to have that standard rootstock is because it's more vigorous. It'll get down, it'll have a better chance, I think, to get into the clay and to and to go down through the clay and into the soil beneath it, which is like 2 feet down here, below this, maybe 2.5. And so it'll probably have the best chance of getting below that clay level and into the water table and into the good soil, which is underneath this. So underneath all these orchards, there's about 6 to 8 inches of good soil, and then there's about 2 to 2.5 feet of heavy clay, and then below that is a combination of soil, sand, and clay kind of mixed together, which is pretty good. And so that's what I want the standard rootstock for. But I'm also trying to fight the voles. And if you have vole problems, this may or may not work, but I'm going to show you what I've actually done before I finish the other hole, because I'm going to put I bought 3 apple trees this year. One of them is the Liberty standard apple, another one is a standard pristine apple, and the third one was a cane, which I think I made a mistake because it's not a standard rootstock, and I don't even know if it's going to be good for the clay soil, but I'm going to plant it anyway. But so anyway, this is what I did. I put this screen around it. This screen, 25 feet of this is like $30 at Home Depot, or is this year, 2024. So obviously prices are going up. We've got a lot of inflation happening right now. But this won't necessarily stop field mice, because the field mice might just crawl up this thing. I don't know. I'm going to put a tree guard on this before the fall, so the field mice aren't going to be able to really eat this, and they don't really burrow underneath and eat the roots. It's the voles that do that. So the idea is this is as high as this, or even higher or more depth below the soil level. So if the voles get into the wood chips, which they will do, they'll burrow around underneath the wood chips for places to spend the winter, and they won't be able to get to the roots of the tree because they can't get through this. And they're not like mice, and I don't even know if mice are going to climb this, but they won't be it's positive. So the voles are going to be underneath this level by the fall and the winter, and they won't crawl up this. And so this should be my solution, long-term solution, to the voles. So I'm going to show you a couple of the trees, what voles actually do. So sorry, but mind the camera, because I'm going to actually lift it up and push it up so that and then I'm going to go through and show you, and then I'll show you what it looks like before I actually fill this in. I haven't received the pristine tree yet, so it'll be just fine. So give me just a moment. We're going to take you over to this tree right here. This is a frostbite apple tree, and 2 years ago the voles ate the roots. The tree was leaning. I thought maybe if I could push the tree back up and then push, around here and get it to stay stable, that it would be okay and live, except that it didn't. And I've actually scratched this year, and it's dead. Like, there's no life anywhere on this tree. So it's pretty much a dead tree. So now let's go to the next one, because that was 2 years ago. This is a Macintosh tree, and the voles got to it. You can see it's leaning a little bit. And see that? I can just push it back. Try to see if I can maybe coax it. Like the roots, when the voles eat the roots, they eat like not just the edges, they like girdle the roots like they would the tree. And there's a good chance this tree is not going to live. Now it does have its blooms ready to come out, but this tree's probably going to die, just like the frostbite did over there. This is another Macintosh tree. It got hit a little bit by the voles, but it's got a lot more pressure to it. So this one I actually think will probably do okay. And then if we come over to this Macintosh tree, there might be a little bit of play there, but there really isn't much. Anyway, that's what voles do. So here's an example of what I'm doing. Hopefully that can be seen. Maybe I'll bring it back a little bit. There we go. And down. Okay, so here is the hole. Here's the wire, or the fence, that you can buy at any of the box stores or probably your hardware store. And here's the fence itself. And now I just got to figure what height I want this at. And I probably want to keep this part right here to be, I want this part to not be the jagged part when I cut it. So I'll pull it out, and you can see it right there. So I'll probably cut it like maybe right here, but I'll do some measuring and try to figure out. And then what I've been doing is, this heavy clay has some uses. I've been plugging the bottom portion of this with the heavy clay. I kept some, and then I'll fill it full of dirt. And then I'll put wood chips around it, and I won't put dirt around it, but I'll put dirt inside of it. And then when the tree arrives, I'll plant it in this. And voila, an extra layer of protection from the voles in an area that is a pain in the butt. Now, this is a standard tree. It's going to take a long time for this pristine, that when I get it, to grow. But long term, it should be able to deal with the soil, being a standard tree. And then number two, this should help me with my protection from the voles. So anyway, I just wanted to show you today, there are different ways of thinking about things to solve problems, fighting pests, whatever. I don't really have to deal with a lot of the issues of diseases, and because we don't have high humidity, we got really a dry climate here. But I'm dealing with difficult soil, and then secondly, I'm dealing with voles and deer. Those are my top two predators or pests. Anyway, I'll show you this later when I'm finished in the future, when I go through and talk about the different varieties of apple trees that I have. But I just thought that might be interesting for people to see one way of potentially dealing with it, and we'll see how it turns out. Maybe it doesn't work, but I think it should. Thank you for watching My Mountain Life.